All right, here we are, episode 21. To hell with the podcast. Welcome back. Thanks for listening. I'm Tim. As always, I'm here with Daryl. Hope you guys are having a great week and have had a great week since we last talked to you. And today we've got a great show, a great album in store to talk to you about today. One of my favorites from the back half of the past 20 years of Stryper since they got back together. But before we get to that, let me just say hello to Daryl before we get rolling today.
Hey man, what's up? It's Saturday. Popped out of bed. It's like, hey, we're doing the podcast today. It's cool. So yeah, as always, I'm always stoked to do this because it's really fun before the whole freaking country freezes. So I might not have power tomorrow, so we need to get this done today.
We were talking about it because I'm supposed to be leaving on Tuesday to go out of the country. And it is just like we had all of this stuff is now it's not it's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen next week because what if we're without power? What if the person we're supposed to drop off our son with doesn't have power? There's just so many little things that are playing into it before we get out of here. I'm just like, man, I
Yeah, it's
hope
gonna be a
this
little
isn't as
nasty.
bad as
Yeah.
they say it's going to be.
Well,
All I
hopefully they're wrong, but yeah, it's supposed to be pretty gnarly. My daughter lives in Athens, and I know your sons are up there too. So they're supposed to be getting just a crap ton of ice, and I don't know what we're gonna do down a little bit south of that, but just I got all my stuff in my pantry and firewood, and so I'm good if I don't have to leave my house for a few days. But yeah, it's a little bit funky down here right now.
Yeah, it is, and it's just like I mean, I have known about this trip since August or a little
Mm.
bit before August, and we're going to Cabo, and I'm just like, this better not be ruined. And
Well, we're
worse,
supposed we're supposed to go to Pittsburgh next Saturday.
are you real?
So that's not happening. 'Cause yeah, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be like 15 for the high. And so yeah, we were supposed to go to a Penguins game uh with my wife's boss, and I was like, who knows if we're even gonna be able to travel? And so we pushed that aside, and I was so mad because I
I know
was
you've
like,
been looking forward to that. That was something that was just
I
kind of like,
absolutely have been looking forward to it, but she's like, my wife was like, it's cool. We can reschedule. The boss is like, doesn't matter, whatever, whenever you guys want to come back up. So, and thank God we didn't book anything like concrete for like flights or hotel or anything, so we were good.
because I mean, for those listening that don't know, even though we are in the Georgia area, Pittsburgh is your favorite hockey team.
Penguins, yep.
Yep,
We don't have a
it's
hockey team.
we've tried twice and we've lost it both times.
And we're about to
We
try
had the
again, and we're gonna lose that one too, probably.
I know. It's like we had the Flames, we had the Thrashers, and now we're going for round number 3 potentially, and
Well, and
it's like,
and we still have the Gladiators, which they're pretty good, and we had the Knights. They were both minor league, but
yeah,
both won championships. Random fact.
yeah, and so Atlanta's just not built for hockey because we don't play hockey down here. So it's just
No, it's
I know there are some people who do, but it's not down here, which not you, but our listeners, if you're from the South, it's football in the fall and it's baseball in the spring. And those are primarily the two major sports that are played down here. And I grew up, I played baseball. Then in the winter, I never played football, but I did play basketball. But I mean, hockey? What? What's hockey? I
no
never,
hockey.
I never knew anybody growing up playing hockey.
I only knew a couple of dudes. It's it's gotten definitely got bigger when the Thrashers came through.
Yeah.
They weren't great, but it put some eyes on the sport. But I love the minor league stuff because we've been to a bunch of Gladiator games, and I loved it when the Knights were here because they were just killing everybody. But yeah, hockey's a weird. dynamic for Georgia, well, for Atlanta and for Georgia. And so I guess we're gonna there's a bid in for this new franchise to come to that. They're building that silly arena up. Where is it? It's up in North Georgia somewhere. I don't even know the city, but they're trying to put this big live work play spot, and they want to bring an arena and bring a hockey team. And I'm just like, okay, we've tried this multiple times already. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because I mean, we've lost. I mean, I'm just surprised they would even entertain us having another one because both of them have relocated. They didn't
Yep.
shut down, they relocated.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know why the NHL would even look at us anymore as far as you want to what?
I know you want a hockey team.
Yeah, we've done this already. One of them's in Winnipeg now, and where did the Thrashers go to Winnipeg? The
I think they
Flames
went
went.
to Winnipeg because didn't the Flames
The
go to
Flames went,
Calgary? Yeah.
and so yeah, so they went back to Winnipeg. Yeah, so yeah, everybody goes back to Canada. Yay! So anyway, this
Going
is
on the other
hockey
side of
talk
the
on
border.
the hell with the podcast.
I
Anyway,
know. I know. But I do want to say this. I didn't talk about this before we jumped on before we jumped on this, but I found something very interesting this week before we get into the guts of our conversation today. And I posted something on my personal page. So I didn't post it on To Hell with the Podcast, but it kind of ties back to what we were talking about last week based upon a couple of the comments that I got. And it's just I want to remind people about the mindset of when you listen when you listen to new stuff now from people that were playing in the 1980s. Because if you didn't hear it, Def Leppard dropped a new song on Thursday called Rejoice. And the first time I listened to it, I was like, but the more I listened to it, I'll say the more I was like, this is a good song. It does kind of remind me more of kind of their sound. Harmonies in the song were good. Phil Collins' guitar playing was good. But the comments that I got back, most of them were positive, but there were 2 or 3 that said, "I'm trying to get into it. It just doesn't sound like Joe Elliott being the lead singer." And that was the comments that were being made, and it reminded me of our discussion last week, and it's just one of the things that as we hear new music from people that are in their 60s and pushing that time frame of their age, to remind ourselves that the voice they have now is not going to be the voice that they had when they were 20s, when they were in their 20s or in their 30s, that it is going to change. They might get a little bit deeper. They may not be able to hit the high notes that they used to. They might have to take it down an octave. And I just saw that as an interesting comment that came back to me about that song because it doesn't sound like Joe, and it's just like we can't listen to it through the view or the lens of I want their voice to be exactly like it was back in 1987, 1988. That's almost 40 years ago. It is going to change. It is going to be different. So as we hear new music, especially as we hear new music coming out from Michael Sweet with Stryper next year, even though he recorded the master plan uh, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it's finally seeing some life coming out, and it's going to come out Aprilish. So it's just something that I just wanted to remind people about that. Hey, they're not going to sound the same. They can still sound good. They can still vocally, they can still sound incredible, but they're not going to sound the same.
well, think about if you're talking about Def Leppard, think about some of those songs with those just ridiculous soaring vocals. I mean, and Joe Elliott's voice, yeah, he's like toned it down a little bit, but he's not a train wreck like some guys that you're seeing that are still on the road. I mean, it doesn't sound like Vince Neil or David Lee Roth or some of those guys. He's still got some pizzazz in his voice, and he can still do a lot of that stuff. I mean, roll it back to Michael Sweet. It's like he doesn't hit every note anymore. He hits most of them, but
Yeah.
how you gonna hit that how you gonna do that when you're, like, 65? God bless Mick Jagger, but his vocal range is not Michael Sweet or any of those guys from the '80s. So, yeah, it it's an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
all.
agree. I just I just thought it was funny just because not funny, but it's just you can't it's good to have a good expectation of when you have one of your bands come out, like, "Hey, I want it to sound good," but to say, "I want it to sound the exact same," as I did back then, because there's even some other artists that I've had some conversations about, just with family members or friends. They're like, "Yeah, I heard this new song, but it's not as rocking as this song." And I said, and I'm like, "But there's also maturity. There's also they're in a different part of their life now, maybe with family and kids, and some of them, like Michael Sweet, he's a grandfather. Some people aren't rocking like they were. They've toned. Stryper actually seems to have gone the opposite direction. They're more harder now than they were back in the day.
That's
But
fair.
but it's just enjoy to me, enjoy the artistry of what the musician is putting out versus I want it to be the same as it was back in 1980. Enjoy their um, their
Journey.
growth, what they're doing, where they're at in life, what they're saying at 50 or 60 versus what they were saying at 20 or 30.
Well, that's the thing. If you're actually a fan, then you'll enjoy the journey and the evolution
Mhm.
of the band that you're
Yeah.
following. So it's like, don't bitch about it. Let them do their
Yeah.
thing. I don't like everything that Seven Dust or Alter Bridge has ever done, or Stryper. There's a couple clunkers in there somewhere, but they're shooting their shot. So let them shoot their shot. So it's if you're actually a fan, then kind of let them let whoever you're a fan of do their thing, and if it's not your thing, then hey, everything's not going to be a slam dunk. So
Well, I mean, and sometimes people experiment. Maybe it's just a song on an album, but there's one song on the album that we're gonna talk about today that I felt like they experimented with a little bit that sounded a little bit different outside of the normal Stryper vibe that we'll talk about when we get into this album. But
mm,
before we get over into the album, let's talk about what's happening from the news desk first. And did you, if you didn't, did you get a chance to listen to the song The Master Plan by Michael Sweet this week?
I've listened to it multiple times. I haven't figured out what I feel about it yet. It's very like majestic, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I really enjoyed the song. I need to listen to it a couple more times, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. It was a just off the beaten path from a normal Stryper song, and that was cool. But yeah, I think I need to listen to it a couple more times. It's a really good song. I think in my brain there was just a lot of stuff going on. It's like I want to analyze this, I want to listen to that piece and this thing and going on over here. So yeah, it was a lot, but I really did enjoy it. It was a felt like it was a big project.
Yeah, it's I agree with you. I mean, the thing is, it's he Michael Sweet did a live yesterday. It was about 8 minutes. He was just checking in with people and he started talking about this particular song. And again, he reemphasized, hey, if you're not, this is not a Striper album. He goes, yes, there are some on some of the songs, it might get a little bit edgier in some pieces, but this isn't going to be your normal Striper, your normal metal album that you would expect from Striper. This is a totally different project. And again, if you're going in with the thought process of this is Michael Sweet, this is going to sound like Striper, you're going to be severely disappointed. You got to.
Yeah.
It goes back to look at what he did with this album and how he is expressing himself and his thoughts and his beliefs through the song. And I was listening to the song, and like you, I've listened to it several times. And with this particular song, when it gets to that part in the chorus, not in the chorus, but when he's just kind of saying, "Oh, that part." I'm not going to try to sing it, but that's the part where I went, "That's where it sounds like the Duran Duran Ordinary World," or it doesn't
Right.
sound like it, but it had that vibe to it.
Yeah,
And
we
I
talked
said,
about that.
and I said, that's the portion of the song to me that said, yeah, I can see why he said that had kind of a Duran Duran Ordinary World kind of vibe. But I like the song, and everything is out now for pre-order. The album, I think it's coming out April 8th or something. I'd have to go back and look, but
Yeah, it's like 1st or 2nd week of April. I saw that too.
so I've pre-ordered it and looking forward to getting it. And hopefully it won't take 3 weeks after I get it this time around, but it's I'm looking forward to it. I think the song, it's the title track, it's the one that he released called The Master Plan. And it's just a very it's definitely, if the rest of the album is lyrically like this and kind of musically like this, I can see why he can say you can turn it on in the morning, kind of ease into your day. You can listen to it at night. You can relax to it at night and just take that time to just be in a different space with Michael Sweet and the way he's presenting the songs.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like yeah, like you say, if you expect this to be a Stryper record or a Michael Sweet solo record, then okay, then oh well. Sorry
Or
for
any
you.
of his other side projects like Sweet and Lynch, Sunbomb, Soul
Right.
Driver, whatever
It's
iconic.
it's
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's not a metal record. Um, but yeah, that's a good point. I had read that about it. I could see this as being like kind of a weird kind of meditation kind of thing, maybe. But because lyrically, it's really solid. But yeah, it's not going to punch you in the face or anything like that. I love that first track. But like I say, I got to go listen to it a couple more times. But yeah, good for him. I'm pretty stoked for this record. So
yeah. So am I. I think I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since he originally first started talking about it. Then when he said Frontiers picked it up and was going to be the label pushing it out, so
put
it's going to be
a
good.
little money behind it.
Yeah, a little money behind it versus just putting it out on the
No
internet or
money.
self-producing it. Yeah, exactly. Now this is what was interesting that I saw and on another thing from the news desk this week was if you were on Facebook, apparently Jonathan Cain from Journey
I saw
sat
this.
down and interviewed and spoke with Michael Sweet. And what Jonathan Cain said was, wow, yesterday was such an honor. I got to sit down with Michael Sweet from Stryper for my upcoming series, The Gospel of Rock and Roll. He was incredible, humble, real, and still burning with passion for the Lord. This is going to be special. And then
How freaking cool is that?
Michael Sweet said, "What an honor, my friend. You did an excellent job, and I can't wait to see how it turns out." I thought this is going to be whenever this does come out. And again, it's Jonathan Cain's. It's not Stryper related. It's Jonathan Cain's. There's a series called The Gospel of Rock and Roll
Let's
that,
back up. So for those that don't know, Jonathan Cain is in Journey.
yeah,
So
thank you.
so
Keyboardist,
anyway,
he's the
go ahead.
keyboardist for Journey. And he has announced that this upcoming tour that's happening this year is going to be his last with Journey. So, but when I saw that, it was like, and I think what's kind of cool, even though it's not Steve Perry, Michael Sweet has said before that he did gain a lot of influence from Journey, Journey's music, late 70s, early 80s
Well, you can
with
hear it.
all of that. So,
Yeah.
and so that I thought that was pretty cool for somebody a band that inspired Michael Sweet. are actually interviewing him now, or a portion of that band is in, or a member, I should say, of that band is interviewing Michael Sweet. So I thought
Yeah,
that was
that's
pretty cool.
yeah. That no, that's very cool. I mean, because love him or leave him, Journey's one between. I can just sit here. I'm thinking about it in my head. Between Journey and Van Halen, I don't know who would be more influential on a band like Stryper because they have all the layers of harmonies and
Yeah.
just so much stuff going on and the guitar playing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's really cool that him and Kane got to sit down and talk about stuff. But yeah, I feel like Journey's kind of a mess right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just looks like there's just stuff going on with them, and now there's even speculation that with this upcoming tour, is Arnell going to be the singer? There just seems to be so much going on. It's just like,
Who else is going to sing if it's not Arnell?
I
You got to
know,
find yourself another singer on YouTube. Okay, it worked out last time, but whatever.
I know. It did work out last time the way they found them. And if you're not aware of it, which probably most of our listeners are, but if you're not aware of it, when Journey was looking for a new singer after whatever happened with Steve Perry, they found Arnell on on YouTube. He was singing different songs, and he either sung Faithfully or Open Arms. I can't remember which one it was, but they heard him sing it. It was either Jonathan Cain or Neil, the guitarist, that saw it and said, "We need to talk to this guy." If my memory serves me right.
You're pretty close. I don't remember all the details either, but yeah, I mean they basically found him on YouTube singing karaoke.
So yeah, and so it was kind of crazy. So yeah, I don't know who they would choose from that, but I think there was speculation based upon a post that Arnell did do, and then when they did a performance at the end of last year somewhere, Arnell wasn't able to make it. I think Jonathan Cain wasn't able to make it, and had they said it was conflicts in scheduling or something like that. So there's just all this stuff going on right now. Is like, what the
Right.
heck is going
Well,
on
I
with this
mean,
band?
yeah, there was a point where their drummer was their lead singer for
Yeah,
when Arnell was kind of not available or whatever. And Castronovo's, I mean, God, he's a hell of a drummer, but he's also a really good singer. So I don't hate it. I don't know. I wish Journey would get their crap together because they have so many freaking just amazing songs. So,
yeah, they absolutely do, and
and I wouldn't care if they wrote new stuff. They're talented enough to you've got so many just killers in your band. It's like just go write some new stuff. It's cool.
right. I mean, Dean Castronovo is a kind of a that one doesn't roll off my tongue that well. Is a great singer, and he actually is. If you we've talked about him before, but that super group band Revolution Saints, he's the vocalist. When Jack Blades was in the band, they kind of did it kind of like Night Ranger did.
Yeah, Blades is
Share
awesome, man.
some, not share some, but yeah, he's the vocalist now completely from my understanding on Revolution Saints.
Yeah, and he's a ridiculous drummer, dude. And I don't know if you there's video out there, but he's playing like Don't Stop Believing and singing the lead vocal as he's playing the drums. And I'm like, that's not normal. Cause that drum pattern is not like just a normal like 4/4, blah, 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 this and that. He's doing all kinds of different stuff as he's singing the song. And I'm like, man, I hate you. Cause there ain't no way I could do that.
I know I didn't play drums, but I just know this. I think I think if you are playing just this is just from my standpoint, because I am not a good multitasker in a lot of areas. And so for me, I feel like if I was playing an instrument, I would be too focused on making sure that I was doing the guitar or the bass or the drums right versus, oh yeah, I got to sing too. It just
I always found when I had to do both of those things, I would simplify my drum part like as much as I could, so I could make sure that I was singing what I was supposed to be singing. Because most of the time it was a an alto. It was some off part. It wasn't like melody, but yeah, I totally agree. It's you simplify down to as much as you can.
Yeah, it definitely is. I can imagine you having to simplify it down is what I'm trying to get at. One more thing I wanted to share just off the news desk before we get to the album is there is some news from a former member of Stryper, Timothy Gaines.
The gains, yeah.
If you are checking out or possibly wanting to listen to a new podcast, he has a podcast that he's doing that it looks like episode 1 is dropping on Monday, and it's called Morning News Podcast with Timothy Gaines. And so he in this particular one, he's interviewing a pastor, and I know he's really got not that I'm not saying it's bad, but he really talks about revelation. He really talks about end times a lot just on his posts that he does. He's done some teachings, it looks like, on revelation itself. So I don't know exactly what the podcast is going to be doing, but support him. Go check it out. Hear what he has to say. And yeah, the first one, I'm looking at it right now. The first one premieres in 41 hours, January 26th at 9 a.m.
I bet that would be interesting. Tim's a smart dude, so and he, you know, I'm sure he'll have some interesting guests and opinions on everything. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
And I know we've talked about this before, but I have to say there was one thing somebody said on this, and it's just you can see where he is at now. Let me find this real quick. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. Where's it at? Well, somebody made a post on him when he announced this, and the guy was like, "Hey, you should be in Striper." Timothy Timothy, what he did was he just responded and just said, "Hey," he basically said, "No." He said, it's Perry's season to be in the band." And was just very didn't
Classy.
say anything negative. It was hey, it's Perry's time now. My time? No, it's Perry's time. So I thought that was a pretty cool response to
No, that's
give.
yeah,
Like
that's very
it was definitely really classy for him to do that. But Monday morning, 9 o'clock, it's dropping. So, and
all right.
it looks
Cool.
like looks like it's on where I saw it at. He gave a link to YouTube. So I don't know if it's going to be on other platforms or if it's going to be specifically a video, but if you get a chance,
And
go check it out.
one more time, what's the title?
It was morning news podcast. I will give it to you in 2 seconds. I just got to go back in. I'd already closed this out.
I hadn't heard about this, so this is breaking news.
It is the morning. Here you go. I'll just share this real quick. Embed it. Yes. Share. Screen. Facebook. Share. Morning News Podcast with Timothy Gaines, Episode 1 premieres Monday, January 20th.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So it's
Yeah,
on.
I'm
It's
sure. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
so you can follow him on Facebook. So,
Because
but
he's
all
old.
right, here we are.
Here we
Now that we've
are,
got
freaking
all of that out of
half
the
an
way,
hour in, and we haven't talked about anything. But hey, that's about right.
hey, that's how we usually roll, though. Totally fine. But today, today we are talking about one of my favorite albums from Stryper of all time, but also definitely on the back. I always like to call it the front half and the back half, even though the back half has lasted a lot longer than the front half did. the back half of this band, this album released in 2020, Even the Devil Believes. And you've heard us talk about some of the songs on this album, but today we're going to talk about each song individually. And I remember when this album came out, we were in the midst of trying to get the curve going in a different direction. And I listened to this album a lot because gyms weren't open. So I was walking. I would walk in the mornings and I would listen to this song, listen to this album. And so this album during that time frame just got embedded in my brain because I was listening to it so much. And it was just like, and I felt like too, in a world at the time when there was so much negativity going around, we were in the midst of an election cycle, was Trump versus Biden. The nation, our nation, was basically split in two, as it still is, but it's split in two. And then you have this album come out with some of the lyrical content from this album. I said, I thought to myself, this fits so perfectly, some of these songs lyrically, in the climate that we're in today.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I have some thoughts on a couple of songs that are in here. It's like, yeah, you guys were definitely vibing with what was going on with the social constructs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, some of it's like just punching you in the face. Yeah. All right. So uh,
Yeah. And so, a couple of other things, real quick, before we get into the songs. There was actually a song from this album that was written in the 80s, but never found its way to an album until 2020. And we'll talk about that when we get to that song. I'm not going to bring it up, but I just want to tease that for a moment. But there was a song again written in the 80s. Just the basic. Oh, I'll give the details of it when it when we get there. And
I'm
then
gonna
the
guess,
other.
but not right now.
Well,
Crap.
which song would you guess?
I'm not guessing yet. So
Okay,
I'll guess when we get a little further into our my case is dying. Anyway, but
this was actually, even though we talked about this when we talked about Goddamn Evil. Perry joined the band in 2017, but due to scheduling conflicts, he wasn't able to play on Goddamn Evil, which came out in 2018. This is the first album that Perry Richardson actually plays on.
yep.
And then, of course, as always, there is lyrical misunderstandings on this album.
No, on a Stryper album?
Couldn't be. So the two, and we can talk about them more in depth, but the lyrical misunderstandings, Make Love Great Again, people, oh, you're Trump supporters. Oh, yeah. Oh, how dare you?
I have thoughts on that song. I was My wife and I were actually listening to it. She's like, "Is the title of the song actually Make Love Great Again?" And I was like, "Yep, that's exactly." And so I sent her the link. She's like, "This is a really good song." I was like, "Yeah, but look at the title and tell me that you're not going to get for talking about that song with that title." She was like, "Yeah, okay. Well, go do your thing."
And what he said was, and what Michael Sweets, and again, this is research. So even though the title, like you said, was mimicking a political slogan, Sweet did clarify that this was not a political endorsement, but it was a call for people to return to the golden rule, which leads into some of the other songs that were happening during this time, basically about love and forgiveness. And then, of course, you've got the Middle Finger Messiah, which I know is a song you really like, but people, oh, you're saying Jesus gave the middle finger? That's not, it's like you haven't even heard the song yet and you're being critical. You haven't even looked at the lyrics yet and you're being critical of this song.
But
And basically, what Sweet was explaining was it was a commentary on how society shuns God, essentially giving God the middle finger. It wasn't saying we have this that Jesus is our Messiah and he's walking around giving the middle finger to everybody. And it's just like, come on, people, before you jump on some bandwagon and just want to be controversial, listen to what the song is saying, what the lyrics are saying before. But
that's too much work.
yeah, it's just easy to jump on social media, criticize, point out what your view is, and then go back down to your mom's basement.
Yeah, probably. Well, and you're killing my top 10 list. So
But you
onto
know what? What is funny on that live that he did yesterday that I was telling you about? He actually got on there to clarify something else he posted this week that people, I think some people took a little bit wrong, but he posted something this week that said, Jesus doesn't care about your politics. And it shows a donkey and an elephant basically going after each other. And he goes, it was actually a pretty good post because he went on to say, I've realized when you get political and voice one side, you divide. You think you're taking a stance and making a difference, yet you're just basically disrespecting. There are always two sides, many sides. This, of course, is my opinion. I'm sure many will disagree. I believe if Jesus were here today in the flesh, we would all have a rude awakening. Every single Christian would be put in their place for saying things that don't line up with the teachings of Christ, for doing things that don't line up with the teachings of Christ, for posting things that don't line up with the teachings of Christ, myself included. We often use Christ as a tool to make our point, yet at the same time, it's a one sided point, and Jesus is not one sided. Think about that. He's not red, he's not blue. It's just a thought. And there are things that, and I tend to agree with him for the most part on that post that Jesus, if he was here today, he wouldn't be a Republican. He wouldn't be a Democrat. I think there would be things from both sides that he would say, I agree with this side, I agree with this side. And he would have his own political party, which ultimately is one of the reasons why the Romans killed him, is because he was going against what the people of that day were saying. But what ended up happening was that I agree. He wouldn't be red, he wouldn't be blue, but we all think whatever side we are on is that this is the Christian side. And to me, it's politics. We have to remember that Jesus is part of God's kingdom, not part of a political party.
you really have it, and it's hard to separate politics and
Yeah,
religion because if you're
it
sitting here
is.
looking at, hey, I'm a Republican, so obviously I'm a Christian, and if I'm a Democrat, then I'm probably a Catholic, or I don't freaking know. But they do have to be separated. It's not your spiritual relationships are different from your obviously they're going to intertwine at some point, but yeah, it's funky because yeah, it's um trying to trying to put your political beliefs and your spiritual beliefs in the same boxes. I don't know. That's a funky territory for me.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, if I recall correctly what he said, and I agree with this, we've got to remember that as as scripture says, be holy because I am holy. So we got to remember to be holy, but we also need to remember we've got to fight evil. And sometimes there's evil on both sides of the political party.
Yep.
And when you're on one side and you bleed that side over you bleed that side over what the Bible actually says, and you bleed that side and you put it above what the Bible says, then that's what I think the post that he was really where he was really trying to go with it was like what you just said. You've got to be able to we in my opinion, you should always elevate what the Bible says over what your political party says, period. That's my opinion.
Of course.
And but there are some people who elevate the donkey or the elephant over what God says.
Well, those are the dumb people.
Yeah.
If that's what you're do if that's I question your intelligence, but hey, whatever.
'Cause this is and we'll get to the album. I kinda
Oh my
took us down
god,
a
we're
sidetrack
never
here,
getting to the album.
but I took us down a sidetrack, but I'm not gonna say this because I don't wanna say because I don't wanna say who it was, and I don't wanna say what they were talking about, but there was a prominent political figure who recently said, "I only took that side because that is what my party told me I had to do,
So he get votes.
so I can get votes." Instead of standing up for what you believe is right, I'm gonna go with that. And that's the kind of stuff that ticks me off. But we're here to talk about even the devil believes, not
Great segue, sir.
political red and blue. So, but
Well,
what
we're gonna get back into some political rhetoric as we roll through this record.
yes, that I believe that we definitely will. But so when you hear even the devil believes, before we start breaking it down and list out our songs and do all that, what do you think of the album overall?
This is a different record for me. I've listened to it a few times. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I've listened to it 3, 4 times in the last couple of days. This is the I believe the first, if my information is correct, this is the first like full on with Perry Richardson,
Yep, it is. It
and
is.
so it's it's got a different flavor to it, which I ly lyrically, I freaking love this record. It it's a typical Stryper lyrical record. It's like it's not pulling any punches, it's hitting you in the face and, um, make sure you're paying attention. Yeah, and I love the length. It's 45 minutes, I'm in and out. Yes, and there's some songs on here that I one of my favorite Stryper songs of all time is on this record. Um, but yeah, like you were saying, it came out in 2020, so it's on the back half of the catalog, and, it's probably my favorite record on the back end, to be honest.
Yeah, that's and I think you and I have talked about this before, or at least I believe I have mentioned it on this. This on the back half, this has been my favorite album by him. And it's so not and I'm not taking away from the final battle. I'm not taking away from when we were kings that were released after this, because I still think both of those are great albums. But this on the back half is my favorite album. And I just think it's just because I I think one of the reasons is I spent a lot of time with it and I listened to it because we were all working from home. It was a little bit more of a different world at that point. I had a little bit more, not that I wasn't working, I was still working, but it was just a different place. And so I had a little bit more time to spend with it.
Right. Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, at the time it came out, yeah, every everybody was in their home office. So so figure
Yeah,
out what you wanna listen to.
it definitely was. Everybody was in their home office and doing the thing. And I'm trying to find it's now I can't find it. I had it up earlier. Well, well. Oh, there it is. Yes. Even the Devil Believes, it came out September 4th. So September 4th, 2020. That's when it came out. So album cover.
Yeah. That album cover kinda rules.
If you haven't seen the album cover and you're watching us on YouTube, here is
Can you
the
pop it
album
up?
cover for the album.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, apparently very simple. You got the devil kneeling at the feet of God. Very simple.
Very simple, but man,
It says a lot.
It looks amazing.
Another great album cover for this.
Dang it. It's weird they never list the person who actually does the that's weird. I don't like that. The person actually does the album cover.
One time I thought I read, and correct me, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say maybe I'm imagining this, but that Robert has come up with some of the concepts of the album covers.
You know what? Yes, I think I've seen some of those articles come across where he's like just got the basic tendencies, but then he's just pushing them off to the art. Yeah, I've seen that before too.
So, and I'm asking my best friend here real quick.
Chat GBT.
So this is what it says. And again, it could be wrong. It says Stryper's album covers have been handled by various artists and designers throughout their career, but in recent years they have established a consistent partnership with digital artist Stan W. Decker. Since the mid 2010s, French artist Stan W. Decker has become the band's primary cover artist. He is known for his highly detailed, cinematic, and epic digital illustrations that often feature the band's trademark albums designed Fallen, Goddamn Evil, Even the Devil Believes, The Final Battle, When We Were Kings. This is where it talks about Robert Sweet. The classic 80s and 90s era. In the band's early years, the art direction was often a collaboration between the label's art department and the band members, specifically drummer Robert Sweet, who frequently came up with the visual concepts.
Of course he did. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he was
So,
the visual timekeeper. So yeah. All
yep,
right,
he was a visual timekeeper. He's the one who introduced the yellow and black. So there was a lot that he did. That I have not heard that name Stan W. Decker before. So
I
that
haven't
seems to
either.
be taken from the Christian molten metal.
Hmm, interesting. All right, well, that's cool.
So,
Yeah,
but where do we want to start? Do we want to start? Do we want to rank them?
I can start wherever you want to start. So yeah, I
Let's
mean, what do you want to
let's
do?
start at number. There's 11 songs on it, which I like. I always like an album that has more than 10 songs, unless the songs are like 4 or 5 minutes each. It's always
What do you-
disappoints me when a album comes out and the album is like 30 minutes long. It has 10 songs, and each song is like 2.5 minutes. But that is not what we would expect from Stryper. But with this in mind, what would you rank at number 11? First of all, do you find any skippers on this album? And what would you rank at number 11?
I really like this record, but I would cut 2 songs off of this thing in a minute. Lyrically, from top to bottom, there's so much good stuff here, but part of me is like, when I can't catch the riff when it's coming out and it's just not hitting me in my spot, I don't care what the song says. If the guitar's not right and the riff's not right, then kind of passing you off. So that being said, Invitation Only is my number 11 because the lyrics are, I mean, but it's just too boppy, I guess. So, and that's my only gripe. The lyrics are nice, and there's some background stuffs on here that I like, but it's just you see my head going back and forth. That's how I feel. So it was just like it's a good song, but there. What I will say is there's much more quality material. Damn, is that a word? Material on this record. So yeah, that's my 11.
Yeah, and just to tell you this, this is the song that was originally written in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember Michael Sweet talking about this, so I went back and just did some research on it. But again, if this is incorrect, the other portion, I know that this song was written in the 80s, but what this says was that it was originally penned in 1989 and was intended for the Against the Law album. They actually tracked it, but it never made the final cut, and then it just sat there on the shelf because it wasn't because the band disliked it, but because he says that he hit kind of a creative wall on it, and he goes, I just couldn't finish the lyrics or the melody, so we just decided, oh well, let's just put it on the shelf and we'll deal with it later. And he also went on to say it was kind of meant to be their hit from from that time frame, and I could see, based upon, you kind of step back, if that's accurate, that you could kind of step back and say, yeah, I could see them releasing this in 1989, 1990, and
Yeah.
so when I listened to it through that lens, and I knew it when the album was coming out, I was like, okay, I was anticipating this song. So I said, okay, understand, going back to what we talked about earlier, understand that this is 1980. Now, this doesn't rank up there for me. Lyrically, I like the vibe of it. And I even like that little keyboard thing they have going underneath it. I thought that was something a little different that they did, which I also like if you want to call it the pop rock or whatever. I've always liked that style. I've always been a fan of that. So,
No, yeah. Again, it's not a bad song. It's just have different vibes, and yeah, it was just a little too boppy for me. But it's not and we're gonna end up in the damn muck of, well, gotta go somewhere. So once we get to like number 5 or so, it's like we do this every every week.
I know. Because
So it's like
for me, this album was hard to rank.
it's like how,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like on this album, what I have is I have a lot of 1.1s, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, because I had a really hard time ranking this album from 1 to 11 because I like it so much.
So mine from 7 to 1 was really hard. So there were a couple that were like that one. I just, whatever. But yeah, there were a couple songs that I could toss off. But yeah, once we get into the top of it, the the thing is though, it's not even the musical pieces. It lyrically, this album is solid. Oh heck, man. Anyway, carry on.
I'm sitting here looking at my list and I'm like, I don't even like my list anymore, as I always do when I have an album like this, because
We do
it's
this every week.
I just, gosh, I don't want to rank this one at the bottom because I really like this song.
So can I ask you a question and
Yeah.
just off the cuff? So when we do this, we, like for the listeners, we were we usually we're like, all right, we're gonna do this record. So do you not rank the songs before you come into the room, or do you just like come into the room blind and then we just talk about it?
No, I rank them before I come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it just sounded like you were like confused.
No, I'm just saying I don't like where I rank this one because I like the song,
Okay.
and but it's just, uh, oh
Well,
well.
come
I
on,
guess I
man. Just put a bullet on it. It's fine.
Okay, I'll put a bullet on it. And this is the song that I was talking about that had a, what did I say earlier? I can't remember exactly what I said, but it had kind of an experimental tone to the song.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first heard it, I remember thinking it even kind of gave me a Beatles vibe to it,
My god, I can't believe you just said that. So, please continue.
but How to Fly. And specifically when it gets into the the chorus of it,
Oh.
when it gets into the chorus of it, but I love it because I felt like this is such a different kind of vibe to what they normally do, but and I don't skip it. Every
There's
song, every
there's
song on this is an album where I don't turn a song down. They all stay cranked. And this is a song that stays cranked for me. But I just, like we said, we've gotta rank it somewhere. And this is one that I just had to put it somewhere and ended up being number 11.
Wow. Okay. That is hilarious that you came up with the Beatles vibe because my wife and I were just talking about this the other. I actually sent her the song. I was like, "Tell me what," because it does absolutely have a Beatles vibe to it. I was like, "Tell me what song is what Beatles song is this?" And we were both sitting there for like half an hour, like trying to figure it out. And
Did you come up
neither
with
one of
it?
us wrote.
I was gonna ask, did you come up with it?
Not really. It was like kind of a mishmash of stuff, but there's definitely like especially the background vocals, totally Beatles. She made a couple of suggestions. I can't remember what they were, but anyway, who cares? It's but but yeah, I dig this song a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things on this record that are just different than most of the stuff we're used to dealing with Stryper. So this is your 11?
Yeah. Yes. But this is, let me tell you how I track my albums, how I track
Okay.
these. So I sit down and I start with song number one. And at first, song number one is going to be my number one song because that's the only song I've heard off of the album so far. And then I go to song number two and I listen to song number two and I go, do I dig this out? Do I dig this song more than I dig number one? And then if I do, the number two song becomes number one, the number one song becomes number two. And then number three, I like it. I don't like it as much as my number one, but I like it more than my number two. So then my number one stays the same. Song number three becomes number two, and then song number one becomes number three. So I just kind of go, where do I rank it up against the rest of the album?
All right, so you do it the same way I do it. That's all right, cool.
Yeah. And then I listen to it a few more times to see if I want to make some changes, which I always do. And that's why I said, listening to this right now, I hate, but it's things have got to be put somewhere. And I will admit, I've never been a big Beatles fan. I know their songs. I hear them. I can name songs by what they do, but I've just never been a big Beatles fan. But that's not why I rated this song number 11 off of it.
Ah, goodness gracious. Your father would be offended.
I know
He was a
he would
Be
be.
he was a Beatles fan,
No,
right?
he
He's
was
more
more.
well, actually, no, he's more of a Stones guy.
He's more of the Stones and especially the.
Or The Who, yeah, okay. Never mind. I'll shut up now. Yeah, I always remembered he was a Who guy.
So what do you have next at number 10?
Let Him In. It's a good song. I have a lot of opinions on this record as a whole, but lyrically, I think this is one of their strongest records. And I'd have to go back and read and research and do a lot of stuff, but they have a lot of stuff going on this record. But you're never gonna get a Stryper record where they're not telling you what they think about or believe in or any of that kind of stuff. I'm never expecting lyrically that they're going to be weak. It's just some of the, I don't know. This one in particular just kind of whatever. So that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, this one I've got ranked. As you were sitting there talking, I just pulled up the list again, and I'm like, oh, I got this one ranked a little bit. No, I don't. I got this one ranked number 10 as well.
Well, sometimes we agree.
And the thing with this song, because I've also got the lyrics pulled up, for this song, where did it go? Oh, this was earlier in the album. I mean, it just comes off. I mean, it starts off, John 3:16, God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Whoever believes in him becomes a chosen one. That's basically John 3:16 right there. And that we may live and live abundantly. This is just another, we go back to, we talked about this on our earlier podcast when we talked about Soldiers Under Command, that album was just a big invitation album. Do you want to come join us? And this is another one. This is an invitational song of accept him, let him in. You're going to live more abundantly when you do accept, follow him and accept him and let him inside of you. Lyrically, it's very strong. I love the guitar part on it. I jammed to this one, but number 10 for me.
Well, again, I'll say it 8,000 times. Lyrically, this album is strong, but yeah, this one was just kind of a whatever. I don't know. It didn't hit me, and that's okay. We'll move on to the next.
Yeah, we will move on to the next song. And if you haven't listened to this album, or you're just finding out about us and you're hearing some of this, us talk about these songs for the first time, go listen to this album, because I really believe because Michael Sweet always says this, it's going to be our best album. It's going to be our best album. When this one came out, I truly believed this was their best album, especially on the back half of the era since they started releasing again in 2005. Then you got that end with that signature kind of Michael Sweet scream going on in there. And so another great song, but we're going to move on to number 9. What did you have at number 9?
It's really interesting how fast stuff gets. I'm at number 9, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a pool of songs. It's like, crap, man, it's too early for this.
That's how it was for the whole album for me. It was too early. Number 11, this is too early.
Yeah. I have This I Pray, and
How dare you? How dare you?
I know, dude. It's a wonderful song. But it's just, what are you going to do? It probably should be higher. But I don't know. There's so many other things that hit me in a certain spot. So,
and if you don't know, there have been times in the past where I have rated the song low, and Daryl has said, "How dare you?" And if you're a follower of our podcast, you'll know that this particular song right here is my favorite ballad by them of all time. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, this is my favorite ballad. So this one for a ballad, this ranked very high for me because as I was telling you before the show hit me, okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. And you and I were talking before the show about what I've been doing on social media. And one of the things that Michael Sweet has always said, do you guys want to hear a power ballad? Do you want a ballad on the album? And and a lot of times, from what I recall, he'll say there are people who just don't want them. They're just like, no, we want all rock, we want all metal. And kind of like him, as we were talking earlier, he was influenced by the likes of Journey as well. So that's where those ballads come in. I will say this. When I put a post out about power ballads, yes, there are other men in this world who like power ballads besides me. So, yes, continue to make ballads on a Stryper album because there are other people. Because sometimes you start to think, man, am I the only guy in the world who likes power ballads? But no, other men do like power ballads. So please continue to make that.
Oh my God, I love you.
Because the
Dude.
post kind of
That's
said, do you love them or hate them?
hilarious.
You know, do you love or hate power ballads? And people came back and said, love them, love them, love them, love. And then I started, men were love them, love them, love them. And it was just crazy.
Well, I mean, there are some good ones. I'm sitting here rolling through my Rolodex, and I'm just like, yeah, there's a ish ton of really good power ballads. It's like sitting here thinking about Lady of the Valley and Every Rose. There's a crap ton of really good power ballads.
You've got I Remember You. You've got I'll Never Let You Go. You've got so many. Steelheart.
Oh God. Totally forgot about that one.
So it's just funny for me because what I've always seen is that men typically kind of go towards the rock side and want to hear that, but it was kind of like, hey, there's other people like me in the world. I like that.
Well, go watch freaking Steel Dragon. What's the name of that movie?
Rockstar. Isn't it Rockstar?
Yeah, go watch Rockstar.
Mark Wahlberg.
There's plenty. Mark Wahlberg, Miles Kennedy, one of my favorite singers in the world. Yeah, just go watch.
Who did he play in it?
He was the kid when Wahlberg passed the microphone.
At the very end? I did not know that.
Yeah, that was Miles Kennedy. So, but yeah, who I'm going to see in April, and I am vibrating because Seven Dust is opening for Alter Bridge. You couldn't put me in a better situation at the Roxy. So yes,
that'll be cool.
Well, I just found this out this morning. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, my word. Yeah, it's a thing. So because I was like, do I have to buy another ticket? Oh wait, they're opening for the band that I already have tickets for. So yeah. All right, man. Let's talk about some of this music.
Okay, so my number 9, you've already talked about, so we don't need to really dive into the song again. But not my number 9 was Invitation Only.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, already gave you my opinion on it, but
Yeah, and we've already talked. And again, it with that particular song, it's got a 1980s vibe to it. I love it. I dig it. But again, it's got to wind up somewhere on the album, on the
on the list.
rating.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, you're not. I
it's
mean,
pop. It's pop metal, if you want to call it pop metal, pop rock, whatever vibe you want to fit into. If the song had been released and with it musically, I don't know if I don't know if lyrically it would have made it on MTV. It might have. I don't know, but because it was a little bit now it's a little bit more out there, invitation only. So it's specifically what they're talking about. Because when you got calling on you, always there for you, honestly, I believe in you. Those were the MTV hits along with free. This one has more of a scriptural kind of message to it. So maybe it would have been MTV would have said absolutely not. I don't know, but it's got that vibe from that. And I've got a playlist of 800 songs from that era.
I mean, yeah, it's a it's a good song. It's just, it, I don't know. Like I say, lyrically solid. I don't know. For me, it's the riff and the vibe of it is just kind of so. I don't know. It's it's not as good as the rest of the stuff on this record.
Yeah, I like it. I turn it up. I crank it. I crank
Okay.
everything
All right. Well, cool.
off of this album, I should say.
Everybody's got their taste. So
So we are now at number 8. I know this is where it's getting hard for you.
it's getting weird. Man, have we 8? I'm not gonna put this at 8.
You got to put something at 8.
I know. You know what? This sucks. I'm gonna put 8 at Make Love Great Again. I know.
No, I'm saying, oh my gosh, because that's my next one. That's my number 8 as well.
Well, I was I was talking to the wife this morning and we were talking about the pod and she's not familiar with this record. And I was like, there's a song on this record called Make America Love Again. She's like, no.
You mean Make Love Great Again?
All right, Make Love Great Again. Sorry. And she's like, no, that's not real. So
It's real.
it's a thing, baby. So yeah, I was like this. And I know we don't try to be like public or excuse me, political or any kind of crap like that, but yeah, it hit me a little bit. I don't know exactly why, but I really like the song. I wish
Yeah.
I really wish the title was different. But
Well, I think the thing is, if you follow Michael Sweet on social media, you can tell you can tell what political side that he probably falls on, just based upon some of the things he says. And then there's a political slogan that is very close to "Make Love Great Again." And I'm not trying to get political here, but the thing is, if you think about it from a aspect of this, where you had one side of the country from 2015 through 2020 running around saying "Make America Great Again, Make America Great Again." He took, I mean, yes, "Make America Great Again," but you take a step back and go, wait a second, no, we need to make love great again and fight for it, because we've lost sight of loving one another. Yes, I believe you can tell okay, because you get a lot of times where, how can you not affirm me, but say you love me? And so I've had that conversation with my wife, and I've said, it's the same thing as when our kids are growing up. If you see something that you don't agree with them doing, like if they're lying to you, you can hate and you can disagree with them on you shouldn't be lying to me, but I'm still going to love you even though you've lied to me, even though thou shall not lie. So I can honestly say that you can love somebody but disagree with something in their life, but still love them. And it's, but there's this aspect, and I think one side has completely forgotten that. Like, if you don't agree with 100% of what I say, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're this, you're that, you're this. You should be shipped off to some island and all this other kind of stuff. And then you've got the other side who I have heard, not from you, but I've heard people within my family. Well, they're just a bunch of idiots. And they're being negative and they're in your, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying you have to agree with what you disagree with, especially if it's biblical. But I guess what I'm saying is that you can love somebody, but disagree with them. But there's this, no, you can only love me if you agree with me. And that's not the case.
No, that's an absolutely true statement. I've had that same conversation with several of my relatives, and it's like, hey, man, we're kind of stuck together, and if you believe in some stuff that I don't believe in, then all right, cool. We can have a conversation about it, and we can choose not to be on the same page, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it just gets weird where people are like, well, you don't agree with me, so kind of fuck off. And I don't know. I don't think that's not the way.
No.
Because I have several family members that don't agree with the stuff that I agree with, and I'm just like, all right, it's cool. We can still be friends.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you think about it from this aspect, people always say, because it's in the Bible, when I say Jesus was having dinner with the tax collectors. He was having dinner with the sinners. And he says, I didn't come. There's that statement where he says, only the sick need a doctor. And he's talking about that. And he goes, I came for the sick, the wounded, whatever. And I probably just butchered what was exactly
No,
just
you're
said.
pretty.
But and 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 that's the mentality I think that this song is saying we need to have. And we have lost that because of the political divide in our country.
Yes.
And neither side can learn to say, and now I'll say this, there are things that I just feel, and I'm not going to go, there's just certain things I just totally don't agree with. I think it goes against what God's word says. But just like Jesus did, I can still love you, because sitting there spewing off on somebody let's put it this way. When has anybody ever been convinced when they're being yelled at? Never.
No, yeah, no, it's like you just said, love the sinner, not the sin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff there, but yeah, it's
But yeah, but I think that is one of the songs on this album that was really, I think, geared and written towards to the times that we were in. Well, actually, that we've been in for for the past couple of decades
been a
almost,
minute. Yeah, right.
but it just really escalated during a certain presidency more than I have ever seen.
For sure, for sure.
And we all know who I'm talking about. So
I knew I knew we were gonna get on politics this episode, and I was like, "Dang it, we're gonna get on politics, and
right. So
we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be 30 minutes later, and we're still gonna be talking about politics."
I know. We still have 7 songs to go, and we're an hour 21 in, so
No, I know.
let's crank it up. I'll see if I can keep my mouth shut more. What do you have at number 7?
But I will say that my overarching opinion on this record is lyrically, even even if there's like some weak, like this song for me is kind of a weak riff and kind of a, as far as the guitars and stuff. But overall, there's not a bad, there's not a badly written song on this record. Too, when I listen to even something like this that I don't necessarily think is a great song, it still has really good lyrics.
Yeah, it absolutely, to me, it absolutely does have great lyrics on it. So I will say this is a definite difference for you and I on this song, but that's okay. We're not always going to see eye to eye on every song.
We usually don't, so that's cool.
I know. So for us to have already had a couple of close and others match up, but
yours probably higher.
yeah, this one is definitely higher for me. This one's definitely higher for me, and it's. I think this is where you're going to probably start getting a little miffed with me on this, and that you're going to start saying, "Dude, what have you been taking? Were you smoking when you ranked this album?"
All right, so I'm seeing where the targets are. So yeah, all right. But anyway, that's where I was with that song, and I really like it.
Yeah, and so my next one off of this album, and again, it's not a knock on this song. It's just, again, this is just where our taste in songs end up being a little bit different in how they play out. But my next song, what number are we on? We're on number 7. Yes, sorry about that. My next song off this is Even the Devil Believes, the title track.
Interesting.
I love but like I said, they've got to fall somewhere. This is not a knock on the song. It's just, if I'm ranking an album that I love, it would be very easy if there were 5 great songs and 6 sucky songs off of this album. But to me, there's not. And that's the great thing about Stryper. You don't find 6 sucky songs on an album.
No, dude, you're absolutely not wrong. I love the song.
Yeah, so do I. So when I say this is number 7, this isn't me not loving the song. It's just I've got other ones on here that I ranked a little bit higher, or I should say that higher. And it's just such an easy thing. It's just like, you can say, you think about it back in scripture, you can say you believe, even the devil believes. I think we've always heard that thing. He knows more about what's going on than we do, but he's at the end of time, he's gone, he's done away with. So doesn't matter what all your good deeds are. Doesn't matter even if you just believe. There's more to it.
No, I mean, totally. Like I say, lyrically, this album it kicks out. There's a couple little dips as far as the riffs or whatever, but yeah, it's so good with the lyrical content. So yeah, it's really hard to put all this, because I was like, man, I gotta rank these songs, because it was actually kind of aggravating.
Yeah, because there's my next 2 songs, or actually my next 3, they could all easily be number 4. But
my next 6 could be in any particular order. Well, except for number 1. and I know what that is, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the top 6 could be in any particular order.
Yeah. I know. This is where,
awesome.
which, and we've said this before, if an album is this hard to rank, it tells you how good the album is.
Absolutely. It's awesome that we get to do this because, we're freaking trying to figure out, like, what's up with one of our favorite bands. And it's like, yeah, it's fun from a thought perspective as our wives look at us and roll their eyes. But yeah, it's still fun to do. So yeah.
So let me ask you, so I think what we're going to see coming up is you're going to see the difference in musical styles between Daryl and I, because, and if this is your first time listening or the first time, or it's been a while since you've listened and don't recall, this is where you're going to see where as he's saying devil, I almost said, this is where we're going to see devil.
Damn,
This is where you're going to see Daryl leans more towards the heavy stuff, and I lean more towards the rock stuff, even though I like the heavy stuff on this particular album. So I really think with these next 3 songs, it won't surprise you where I ranked them.
I'm gonna surprise you.
But that's where I'm at. But what did you have at number 6?
Let's see. So all right, so I really like this song, and it's This I Pray.
But you already had that one. You had that one at 9.
Oh, was it 9? I'm sorry. All right, what's the one above that? Sorry. Now I get into my. But did I already do Had to Fly?
Nope, you did not.
Okay, that's the one that I meant then. Sorry.
Okay.
When I do these things, I tend to throw stuff to my wife. She's like, Beatles. So if you listen, when you listen to the song, there's some background vocals and full on sounds like the Beatles. But
Yeah, because
I hadn't thought about it that way. So it was like, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and I've already ranked this one, so we talked a little bit about it earlier. I don't have anything more to say to this song. I love the song. I dig the vibe on the song. I just didn't rate it as high as you.
I just thought it was cool, and not for nothing. And I forgot to mention this in the top down, but there's not a lot of alto back and forth solos on this record. It's like one guy's doing his thing, and then the other guy's doing his thing. There's not a lot of like blended solos on this record. If there are, it's like a bar or two, which I thought was like really interesting, because I've listened to this thing too many times. But but they don't have like the traditional funky alto solos that Stryper usually has. They really don't exist on this record too much.
Yeah, and I wonder too, because when I was doing some research, and I did mention this earlier on when I was just talking about the production of this album, but from what I read, this is when Oz apparently was dealing a lot with what was going on with his health and dealing with the brain issues. And it just makes me wonder if that might, and I'm just speculating, I'm not saying this is absolute truth, but I wonder if that played into maybe not as many duos going on the album.
Well, that was 2020.
But it also
so that timeline would make sense.
And but it also shows the resilience of this band and the resilience of Oz Fox to battle through all of that and still do what he did with this album.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, this album is, I mean, you say it's one of your favorites. It's really freaking good. And and Mike's production and all the stuff that he's doing, and got your guy over here having a disease, and so it's got to be just a lot to juggle. But I mean this record, it's really freaking good.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
So yeah, it also speaks back to Mike's work ethic, just production ability, just all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, actually.
And my number 6, I know you're not going to like this, but I just have to rip the Band-Aid off at some
Give it to me.
point. At some point. And I love the song. Don't get me wrong. I love it lyrically. I love it. But as I said a few moments ago, this is where you're going to see the musical taste between Daryl and I kind of drift apart on this album. And I know this song probably has, I'm just speculating as I say this just because of what it says in the song, because of I would say lyrically kind of a similar lyric to one of the earlier songs from Stryper back on Soldiers Under Command, but my number 6 ended up being Forgotten Rock and Roll.
I don't hate this song. I mean, it's very 80s, but I kind of dig it. I was going through when I was listening to it again today. I was like, this is going to be higher on Tim's list than my list, but
you haven't ranked this one yet.
I haven't.
No.
So yeah, it's like, but when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so just 80s. So, but that's all right. So this is your number what?
Number 6.
My word. All right. Wow.
See, I thought you would have this one. You haven't told me where you have it ranked yet, but I think you would have it ranked higher because I remember on one of the podcasts, you were talking about like 2 of the major influences in your life have been God and also rock and roll. And so when this lyrically, it goes the rock, the roll, raise your hands for God and rock and roll. So I was like thinking, my mind was thinking he's really going to love this one.
No, well, you're gonna be surprised where it is, because yeah, it's pretty high.
Okay.
So, all right. So where am I at?
We're at number 5.
So,
and I can tell you already, we do not have the same number 1 song.
That's unfortunate. So I'm at Divider.
Divider.
That song just freaking slaps. It's just right in my wheelhouse, dude. And again, all the lyrics on this record are ridiculous, not in a bad way, but it's so well written. And this song to me is just like, okay, I get the lyrics and the riff and all the other stuff. So yeah, let's go do that. So yeah. And it's got a nice gnarly groove to it. So yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, this to me.
You probably don't.
Well, I'll
like
tell you my thoughts. I'll tell you my thoughts when I rank this song. Why I ranked it where I ranked it. So I'll hold off my thoughts on this particular one until we get there. So my number Yeah, no, my number five is Middle Finger. See, I knew you were gonna like these choices. See, Daryl is speechless.
I try and I try. I can't pull this kid down the road.
And don't get me wrong, I love this song. I love
It's that number
I
five.
love it.
You don't love it.
Yes, I do, because I love this album. This was hard to do, but again, as we talked about earlier, this particular song had some controversy around it. That's not the reason I ranked it number 5. It's a banger, as you've said many times. They start usually with a banger, they end with a banger, and that usually makes a great Stryper album, which I agree with you. This is one of my favorites of all time. It's just this particular song falls where it does because there are some other songs that I just fall more into my wheelhouse than that. But I mean, this whole song is just about how the world, how people just reject our Creator, and they give him and they just shun him. They flip him off, and they're just like, one of the lyrics is, the world flips him off like a pariah. He's the middle finger messiah. So because it goes through. He's more than a man, more than just words. He is the door and the key, the rock in the sand, one of the third, the veil that will set us all free. It's talking about who he is, but in spite of who he is, we still, not you and I and people that have faith in God, but there are people who just still, in spite of everything that he's done for us, they still just say, hey, screw off. I don't need that. And they give him the middle finger.
No, man. You're not getting any argument from me. I sent this to my wife today. I was like, look at the title and then listen to the song. She's like, is this real? It's like,
and I love the guitar part right here.
I love this song. I mean, there's so many like just up and down parts, and it's a super well constructed song. I love it.
Yeah, it is. And again, I know I've ranked it at 5, but that doesn't mean it's a bad song.
Okay.
At number 11, this album doesn't have a skipper for me because this whole album just really, I just love. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's maybe one song on here that I would just skip aside from everything else. It's a great record, and it's a different record because like I said, when there's no alto solos or anything kind of weird like that guitar wise, it's like, all right, well, cool. And it's the first record with a new bass player, so yeah, let's do all that. So yeah, there's a lot going on here, Sarah. But for them to come out of this with this quality of material is pretty impressive. So
yeah. So we got 4 left.
Got 4 left.
I've got my number 4 queued if you want me to do mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my number 4 off of this album, this is another song that I just absolutely love. I love to listen to it all the time. But my number 4 was Do Unto Others. And to me, as we talked about earlier in the show, when we talked about how there could be some political ties based upon what was going on during this particular time, this is just another good a good reminder to, just like Make Love Great Again, this was always a statement that I would make to my kids even before this song came out. You want to treat others as you want to be treated. Don't go out there and expect to crap all over people, but expect to be treated well. And again, you take this song and you plug it back into September of 2020 when people were on, and I'm not saying the whole nation, but you have the fringe on both sides who just constantly are doing this and yelling at each other, and there's no room. And it's just like, you could be the most off-base person in the world to me, but if I see you walking towards me, I'm still gonna show you the love that I think that we need to do. I'll open the door for you. I'll say hello to you. I'll talk with you. I'll talk about, I mean, it's just who we are. But we forgot, it's almost become do unto others as they would do unto you, as long as they agree and accept everything 100% that you believe in. And that's not what any of this says. And to me, this song again was just a gentle, rocking reminder in a very crazy time, which is still very crazy now. Hey, we're better than this. We need to be better than what we've been towards each other.
I was going to say, are we better, or do we just need to be better?
We need to be better.
Yes, we do.
We're better. That's what I meant. We're better than this. We're better than the way we've treated each other. We're better than the way that we've acted with each other. And there's not too many people that are willing to do that. But
no, thanks for saying that. I totally agree with you. I mean, we should all be better. We've been lowered after these last two, in my opinion, these last two election cycles. Like, we're not mean people. It's just, can we just be nicer to each other? I don't care if you like Trump or if you like Biden or Harris. I don't care. It's just in general, we need to be nicer to each other. And that sounds really liberal, but hey, whatever.
No, to me, this song is not a liberal statement. It's not a conservative statement. This is a biblical statement. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And
no, totally.
And people just don't do it anymore.
Well, part of it, I think, is that I won't say I don't know if scared is the word, but it's like people are afraid to interact with each other.
Yeah.
Because just of all especially if you're in like a major metropolitan area, I think people just are scared to interact with each other. I mean, when my wife and I go out on date nights, it's like I got my head on a swivel because I don't know what's going to happen. So it sucks. So,
when you say the wrong thing, you wear the wrong thing, it's just like you park in the wrong spot. People just are so edgy. Not everybody, but I just think.
Go ahead.
But it just goes back to, if I hear somebody talking about what I don't agree with, I might roll my eyes and go, gosh. But then
you're walking away.
But if I saw them fall on the floor, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them. Where some people, if I see them fall on the floor, well, good, I hope you die.
Anyway,
but
all right, we're off the rail.
Give me your number 4. Give me your number 4.
We are off the rails. Oh my goodness. Ew. Oh, so yeah. So I'm at For God and Rock and Roll. We just talked about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I I don't know. I just think that song is fun. It's,
Yeah.
it's got a little bang to it, but it's also got a little head bop to it, and I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know. That's what's funky about this record to me is that it has definitely there's some heavy to it, but there's also some, like I actually wrote in my notes, there's some Poison in here, there's some, like, just totally '80s stuff in here, so but not in a bad way. Just it was a fun dive into to do this record because it does have a lot of flavor to it.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's one of the reasons why, and we've talked about this before. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy this album is like you just said, there's a lot of different flavors to it. He's rock, pop rock, the ballad. And it's a different sounding ballad. We've talked about, you know, well, I'll talk about that segment when I get to it. But what did you have at number three?
Oh, number 3. Oh, wait, shoot. No, I didn't have Even the Devil Believes yet, or did
No,
I?
you didn't.
I I did?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
You
okay,
didn't.
cool, yeah, that was I actually had it circled. So, yeah, that was my number 3. So, yeah yeah, there was just so much different flavors. I mean, like I said it a million times, but yeah, it was so cool. I mean, to because usually you jump into a Stryper record, what you're getting into,
Yeah, you do.
and it was interesting to if you listen to the thing top to bottom, you don't have those alto solos. There's not as many harmonies. It's it's very kind of stripped down, but not taking anything away from the talents of the guys that were making the record because it's still I mean, like you say, it's one of your favorites, and it's really interesting to see that they could pull this off and kinda, like, strip their style a little bit and kinda still make it their own, so, anyway.
I hear you. And your number three was Even the Devil Believes. I think my number three is because I think I know what your number two song is. I think I know what your number one song is.
Well, you
So I
probably
think my number three is your number two song. And oh, I just scrolled too fast. But my number th- my number three is the number one track from the album, which is Blood from Above. And I just think this is just such a great opener. You get the signature Michael Sweet scream going right there, but it's just like the lyric, the lyric.
alright, we're
But
good.
the thing is, with this particular song, I think lyrically, not only is this song just drives from the opening segment when it just, I mean, because it's fast, it's aggressive. Like I said, it's got the Michael Sweet high pitched scream right out of the gate. I just think lyrically, though, when you read things like, he's a holy human sacrifice nailed upon a cross, a righteous murder scene of love flowing down grace and the blood from above. I just think that that is just brilliant lyric writing. It's just like, this is really, I just think lyrically, it's just incredible.
Well, this is where I get sideways with Stryper, this and that and the other thing. I'm like, have you, like, listened and it's people that haven't listened to Stryper. I was like, some of these lyrics are just he's a great songwriter. I know he's writing about Jesus and all this other kind of stuff that you might be a little uncomfortable with, but the songs are good. And so if you're gonna sit here and talk about how Stryper sucks, it's like, I would love to talk to you about why Stryper sucks.
Yeah, get and honestly, I think when people say they suck, I think they're the ones who have never really given them the time of day to really sit down and
Absolutely.
listen to what they've played. If you sat down, and this is the thing, I don't think you can rewind just and judge them based on the 80s anymore. I think you got to judge them based on their entire history. And when you sit there, and even in the second verse of this song, evil is damned in the special. Oh, this right here when he said at the end of the song, just but evil is damned in the special place. A straight and narrow path is for all. The crucifixion, the torment of I am, where Golgotha's at. He answered the call. I
No,
just
man. I mean,
this song just drives and kicks it.
well, that's the other thing. When I get kind of sideways with people that say Stryper sucks, it's like their lyrics are they will punch you in the freaking nose. There's not a lot of like stuff that's, what do you call it? They're not trying to sugarcoat anything for the most
Now, and
part.
you know what cracks me up when you say that is because not that my wife bought into this when she was younger, because my wife is my age,
Lori
but
stories.
when she was at the church that they were going to, it was beware of Stryper. They don't talk about Jesus and the blood of Jesus and the songs. And I'm like, what world are you living on? What world are you living on? Whoever said that to you, they never even bothered to listen to them. What
Yeah.
they did was they watched some, and this was like the pastor's wife of their church or something. And I said, whatever it was, they listened to Jimmy Swaggart and heard him ranting about them and never even gave it the time of day to do their own research. And I think that's what's always pissed me off, just like you, is when people would sit there and say the things that they did about this band back in the day. It's like you haven't even listened to it. You haven't even sat down and listened to the music, read along with the lyrics. You're just judging them based upon what somebody else said, especially and so when I hear comments like that, it just here I am, I'm saying earlier, we got to do better with each other. But that's just the kind of in,
Hey,
unknowledgeable, if that's even a word, lack of knowledge. There you go. It's a lack of knowledge of what the band is really. And I make up words. You just got to. I sit here all day, and I'll get out of a meeting, and Maury will go, "That's not a word." Well, okay. So I make up words all the time, and then I have to correct myself. It's a lack of knowledge of who this band really is. And so don't tell me that they don't talk about Jesus in their songs. More Than a Man on their biggest album ever. Oh, but they don't talk about Jesus in their songs. It's a give me an ever loving break.
well, people don't care if they talk about Jesus. They just like, well, this is a metal band that's trying to talk about Jesus, and that's the problem. So
Oh, the metal music is satanic. You
the met
cannot make satanic.
the metal, yes. When we get to the metal, yeah, that's where it gets weird too. But yeah, the people that want to criticize, I had a friend of mine, and he was the guitar player in my church band, and he's like, I have so many friends that will just criticize the heck out of Stryper for no apparent reason, but they've never listened to them. And I'm like, well, here's your opportunity, bro. And he did bring some of his people into the Stryper universe, but yeah, it's like if you're criticizing them because they're heavy, which I get it for a second, but maybe just look at the lyrics for a minute, because once you get into the lyrics, you will understand that this band is it's not BS. They they literally believe everything that they're playing and singing about. So if you're hung up on the way they sound, well, that's a you problem. So, but
Yeah, and I get it. It's one thing to say, like I was going back to earlier, I was watching this thing and it was an interview with Timothy Gaines. And it was new and it was with I guess it was with his pastor at the church he's going to. And the pastor and I get this and it's understandable. He goes, Stryper was never my type, was never my vibe of music, which I get. There are some people who don't like it.
okay,
But
cool.
to sit there and say they suck or they criticize it because it's metal mixed with biblical lyrics, but at the same time, you're out there criticizing this, but you were jamming to George Michael's I Want Your Sex. I got a real big problem with the hypocrisy that you've
The
got going
irony.
on with those statements. It's just like, come on, don't tell me they suck if you've never listened to them, and don't as a believer, don't be critical about them if you're over here listening to something else as well. I mean,
Yeah,
should
that's
be critical of them anyway, period. But don't be hypocritical about it.
that's hmm. Wow, that's a comparison I hadn't heard yet. George Michael to Stryper, that's a little that's a little funky, but hey, whatever. But
And it may be an extreme example, but yeah, I just when I hear people say like, "Don't listen to them. They don't talk about God or Jesus."
but they
What world are you living in?
well well, that tells you that they haven't listened to anything. That's I mean, that's where it lands. It's like, well, Stryper doesn't talk about Jesus. Okay, you haven't listened to Stryper. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, because that's what I when I first met and she listened to the hard stuff was never her jam, but she did hear the stuff on MTV and what was popular at that point. But it was so she knew when she heard those comments, like, you're off your rocker. But it's just crazy. So I would guess that Blood from Above is your number two
You would be correct, sir.
because I knew what your number one was.
Well, you knew what my number 1 was before we started this, but yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, just I don't like I was saying before, I think the songwriting on this record is stellar.
Yeah.
It's and I don't care there's songs on this record that I don't necessarily like musically, but lyrically, I think every song on this record is pretty freaking solid, so, yeah, but my number 2 and my number 1 are, so yeah.
So I will tell you my number two. My number two, and I think one of the reasons why I like this song so much, I already liked it even before my youngest son got into it. But, and my youngest son is turning 7 in a couple of weeks. But to me, this is another brilliant, lyrically written song. I think it drives, I think it's hard, but my son and I have a lot of fun to this song in the car. mean, he, I mean, when he was 4, he was sitting there in the back seat of the car in his car seat because he would watch the video with me because there's actually there's a video to this song and there's a video to do unto others from this album. Lyrically, I think they have one from Blood from Above, maybe. I can't remember the lyric video, but when it gets to the chorus of this part and they're like, hey, hey, he would be back there screaming that at the top of his lungs and then punching his fist in the air. And so this to me I have a lot of fun with this song because of that. But I already liked this song a lot before then. But then when I hear this song, it's just something that I bond with my youngest son with. And that just makes it even more memorable, more one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome, man. I mean, yeah, we talked about this before, but yeah, any nostalgia memories, I have tons of them with Soldiers and To Hell With. And yeah, I mean, especially with you and your younger, get some of that stuff in there and get some memories, man. That's awesome.
So now we're down to our number one songs. So give me your number one.
Come on.
Which I already know.
You already know what my number one is, because it's my number. I can't decide if it's my number one title or not. And I hate to say this because we're on the Stryper podcast, Slayer has a song called God Hates Us All. And it's just a brutal song. And then we have a song over here. Gosh, it's just so Middle Finger Messiah. They're both just like banging their heads together. And so, but I love this song because it's like he's coming at it from like you were saying before. It's like everybody's flipping off Jesus, and it's just, I don't know. It's a weird song for me, but I absolutely love it. And I'm not comparing it to Slayer, but the titles are quite good.
Yeah. It's a very, like you said, they've got a strong opener, they've got a strong closer on this album, which makes it, just for an incredible album overall. And I don't know how many more times I can say that, but
no. From top to bottom, this is one of the, and I know you like the back half catalog a lot, and I would say they have a ton of stuff on the back end that's really, really good. So yeah, it's not is it the 80s anymore? No, it's not. This release what?
This was 2020.
I mean, so yeah, it's like, yeah, we're not in the 80s anymore. Ew. But yeah, I had a lot of fun listening to this thing. But yeah, it's yeah, we're not in the 80s anymore.
I know. Well, my number one.
What is your number one?
My number one is the softest song on the album.
You're gonna kill me on this one.
This one right here is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because there is a vibe on this song that is so reminiscent of the songs that I loved back in the day. It's very soulful, acoustic. This is a song that when I first just heard it played, I immediately, just from the intro, I knew I was going to love this song. And I just love this one. I've probably listened to this song more than any of the other songs on this album because it's just got that soulful Southern kind of rock vibe to it in a sense. To me, go ahead. It's got a Poison vibe to it with not Stan.
Yes. So when I was listening back to this, brought the wife in. She's like, "Sounds like Poison." It sounds like what's the damn song?
I think it was Stand.
It wasn't Stand. Ah, crap.
Something to Believe in.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think it's a good mix of both of those songs, honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely. She was saying something to believe in.
Yeah. And for me, it reminds me more of Stand because it's got more of that Southern. Stand had more of that Southern gospel.
No, there's
rock to
definitely
it.
some Southern twang in there. And I mean, yeah, there's some. Yeah. I could.
And I was going to try to do a stupid Southern accent because I'm from the South. That's why I like it so much.
You
but
don't have
no.
a Southern accent. You're just going to try to make a Bryan Adams reference or something.
No, I wasn't. But no, and it's a different pick for me because typically the ballads on the albums fall around 5 or 6, but to me this is one of my favorite, if not favorite, Stryper slower ballads, and I will die on this hill.
Okay.
If they had released this song back in 1980 something, this would have been bigger than Honestly. This would have been bigger than I Believe in You because of the vibe that it had. It's different from what some people might call a sugary ballad or they might call sappy ballads. This is just more. This is the type of ballad that I kind of actually expect from a rock band. And I love the guitar in this.
Gonna say you're playing this guitar solo. I mean, that's obviously.
I can't say enough about this song, and I love that I've mentioned this before. That on their 40th anniversary tour, that they scrapped Honestly, and they added this song to their set list as the only ballad from the set list on their 40th anniversary tour. They did this one. And I loved it because I just love this song so much.
No, this is a great song. It's not something that I'm like. It's not in my canon, but I know the song. But yeah, the song is great, and they have like all the gang vocals and whatnot. But yeah, that's cool that you say that they put that in the set list, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because that was 2024. Yeah, because that would have been the end of 2024 that they did that. I'm just looking at the set list here because it was there it is, center stage. Oh, of course, the great Atlantans that we are, we did not put the set list in there, but. But yeah, I mean, the set list was the same at every show for the most part. But you think about all the ballads that they had. I mean, they had "My Love I'll Always Show," they had "First Love," they had "Honestly," "All of Me," "I Believe in You," "Lady."
All
That they could have
stuff.
all this stuff. They do this one, and he did this song at his acoustical show. We talked about that before when we went to. I just, it's just to me, it's their best ballad.
I mean, you are the arbiter of the ballads, but no, I'm not going to disagree with you on this one because yeah, it's pretty and it's gonna be on the list for sure. So yeah, I I will usually ignore the ballads, but
Because go ahead.
no, well, I didn't this time on this record because we were trying to deal with every song. But yeah, I mean, I I I really did like every song on this record, which is I won't say weird, but it just felt like a different flavor. And
And
it was um a different lineup. So
yeah, you had Perry. It was the first
everybody
time you had the new group in with Perry and the other 3 members. as
Yeah,
well.
it was a little weird, so, but
But
I
again, with go ahead. I
well,
was just
no,
gonna
I
say with this, we're talking over each other.
well,
This is
no
what happens when you're 2 hours in, over 2 hours in.
God, yeah, we talk too much. Uh, no, I really enjoyed there's a couple songs where I could feel like uh, "Hey, we have a new bass player," and there were a couple of songs like that. Okay, so we have a new bass player, and that was kinda cool, but whatever. I don't know. I could feel it on this record.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say too, one of the reasons too is not just the music vibe of This I Pray that I really liked. Lyrically, I think it's just a very strong song too. Like, I swear I won't go down without a fight. The darkest night will always lead to light. Take my hand, help me find my way. I don't want to die. Just give me one more day. This I pray. And then I need a savior here and now. I know I'm sinking yet somehow. I'm reaching for some final peace before my time begins to cease. It's just, and again, you go back to where we were in 2020. Not saying that this was meant to be about that time and frame, but it's just like, yes, I'm not going to go down without a fight. Yes, I want some peace in my life. Yes, because there was just so much non-peace at that time. It was just hitting hard. It was hitting the soul in so many different ways that I found this song. This is one of those songs that I hear and I go back and listen to it again. And sometimes I might listen to it 3 times in a row. And just seeing it at the top of my lungs and when I'm driving or have the windows down in the springtime. I mean, it hits hard. But back to like what you said, one of the things that I really loved about this album was that there was so many different music. It was just different musically throughout because you had How to Fly, you had This I Pray, which was a different ballad for him. You had the hard stuff, they brought back some of the pop rock stuff with Invitation Only. It just really just and then lyrically, overall, very solid. Another excellent album. This particular album ranks as one of my favorites by them.
It well, it definitely on the back half is a banger for me. Because I know you're more schooled on the back half, but yeah, this thing's not that old.
No.
It's a little old, but not that old. But yeah, I was when I was listening to it this week, I was just like, man, this whole thing is it's pretty much a banger. I mean, and it's funky because it's like, all right, this is Stryper record. We we have certain parameters when we listen to a Stryper record. We expect 4-part harmonies and alto solos, and we didn't get a lot of that, but that's okay. They 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 had a great the songwriting was great, and they didn't try to do all the alto solos and whatnot and whatnot. But yeah, it was a different Stryper record, and I really enjoyed listening to this thing again because yeah, it did have a little bit of a different flavor to it, so that was cool.
Yeah, because with this album, and I know we need to wrap up in just a minute, but
Yeah.
with this particular album, this is if you gave me, especially on the back half, this is the one I'm reaching for constantly over and over again.
Okay.
And I'm not taking away from the other albums that they've done on the back half. This just happens to land as my favorite. But one thing I do want to say,
We haven't even talked about the go ahead.
what talked about what? What are we supposed to talk about?
Did we talk about the Michael Sweet thing already?
The song?
No, never mind.
The new song, The Master Plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
we talked about that earlier. I'm dumb. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, when you talk for 2 hours and 22 minutes, it's easy to like, did
Goodness.
we talk about that? But no, I just wanted to say we drop these on Tuesday and next week, I'll be honest, it's kind of up in the air. whether we might end up taking a day off. We might end up taking next week off just because of my travel and getting back home and timing to record something before we drop it on Tuesday. But I will post it if we end up if we end up not doing it. I'll end up dropping something social media wise to let everybody know. But again, final thoughts before we wrap up for the day.
I mean, no,
Anything else? Okay.
nothing, nothing major. I mean, yeah, if we decide not to do it, if we decide not to do anything, hmm, might try to get a little creative, and I'll talk to you about
Okay.
that. I'll talk to you about
Okay.
that off camera. But
No,
but
that
yeah,
sounds good.
this was fun as always. So yeah, love you guys, and we'll see what happens in the next week or so.
All right. And then my only final thought is this I pray is the best ballad by Stryper ever. Okay, that's my final thought. But no,
It's great.
but don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. We appreciate you. Give us some comments, feedback. Love it. We'll see you. If we don't see you next week, we'll see you in 2 weeks. But take care and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Take care of the ice.
Yes.
Love you guys.